Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Victor, and today I am doing a bit of a room slash setup tour type thing. I've always wanted to do one of these, but I never really, I guess, knew how or figured out how to do it, you know, but I was messing around last night and I did. As you can see, this is my setup, and my bed is actually over here. And everything is pretty close together, but I'm not really complaining. So, starting off over here, we have this computer case. It's really big, and if you look closely inside of it, you can actually see there's a motherboard in it. This is a computer that I'm working on building, but unfortunately computers are expensive, and I don't really have all the time in the world to be building a massive computer like this. So these days I usually use it as a glorified stand. On top of the computer case is actually a motherboard that I have to put into my gaming computer, but I'm lazy and I haven't gotten around to doing it yet. And honestly, the only reason I want to put this in the gaming computer is because it has built-in Wi-Fi, and I don't have to use a USB adapter for Wi-Fi. Moving over to my dresser, we have a bunch of random stuff on it, and I will go through and explain all of this in a moment. And aside from keeping all my clothes, like I said, I just store random stuff on it. And I have this little clear storage drawer thing full of random parts and computer boxes and tools that I occasionally use here and there. But yeah, it's pretty handy. And then there's just other random various things in there, but it's mostly just boxes and parts and tools. This little case is actually it holds my Steam Deck, and if you guys don't know what a Steam Deck is, it's basically like a Nintendo Switch, but infinitely better because it's actually a mini computer. It's just in the form factor of like a Nintendo Switch. And I usually use this for emulation games and stuff like that, like PS3, PS2 games. Some Nintendo games here and there, but I have a Nintendo Switch for that, and you'll see that momentarily. And then in this container, we just have random cables and other parts and things. It also has my Oculus in there, and you can see an external hard drive in there and some other things. Oh, I forgot I had those pop vinyl figures. I'm gonna put those on my drawer. Up here we have the camera bag for my camera that I'm actually using to film all this on. It is a Canon Rebel T7. Here's my Nintendo Switch, like I said earlier. I keep it in its dock for now, because I don't really use it that much. And then off to the side, we got two Mac Minis over here. I occasionally use these, but not that much. Maybe I'll figure out something to do with them later, though. And then we got a PlayStation 5 controller. I don't actually have the PlayStation 5 that came with it. I gave it to my friend so they can use it. Here we have the box to a Ryzen Threadripper CPU. Here's a Nuka-Cola blaster that Justin gave me for Christmas. I don't have anywhere to hang it up, so I just keep it in its box for now, but thank you for that, Justin. I appreciate it. And then over here we have my Lego Batmobile. I don't really know what to say about it. It's cool. It was fun to build. I just keep it on my dresser in the back because, you know, it looks cool. It's nice to have. It's nice to look at, you know? Down here on top of my duffel bag, we have my lamp. I don't really use it that much because I don't have that much desk space. You'll see in a moment what I mean, but... And then here we have my duffel bag. This just has random stuff in it, like extra keyboards, microphone arms, cables. I think it's got a few capture cards in there too. This is my capture card, well, one of them. It's a Razer Ripsaw HD capture card. I don't have a use for it right now, but if I ever get like another PlayStation or Xbox and start recording videos on that, I'll use it for that. But it's mostly just stuff that I don't use regularly, but if I need it, it's there. I can just grab it out of the bag and find it. It's nice to have. And then we have my whiteboard over here. I use this to keep track of my life, as you can see. And usually as the week progresses, I'll fill out stuff on it. Like I'll put my work schedule on there, just as a reminder. So when I wake up, I just look at that. It's just nice to have. I like having it. All right, now for the part that everybody wants to see, the actual setup itself. I know it looks crazy, but let me walk you through it and explain everything to you. So we'll start with the small stuff first and work our way up to the big stuff. Over here we have my headphones. These are Philips Fidelio X2s. I love these headphones. They have great audio quality and they're very comfortable to wear. I don't feel any pressure on my ears when I wear them at all, so I love these headphones. Over there on my desk, in between my mouse and my keyboard, is a Razer Siren Mini, I believe. My webcam is a Logitech C920. That little red thing in the back is the interface for my mic. It is a Focusrite Solo. And then here we have my microphone. It is a Shure MV7, I believe. And as you can see, it's an XLR microphone, so the cable comes out of the microphone down along my mic arm, underneath my monitor, and then into the audio interface over there. I don't remember what keyboard I use. All I know is it's a SteelSeries keyboard. One of my friends gave it to me a while back, and I've just been using it ever since. And then my mouse is an MSI gaming mouse. Another friend actually gave it to me, and it's got like these little detachable magnets or things on it that you can adjust the grip on, so it's really nice. My monitor is a 4K OLED monitor. It's got 120 hertz refresh rate and it's 48 inches. The model of it is an Aorus FO48U, and I love this monitor. It's great. Over here to the right of it, we have the streaming/recording side of things. My keyboard is just a simple Corsair keyboard. The mouse, I think, is a Razer Death Adder Chroma. And then over on the right, we have an Alienware monitor, and this monitor is 1440p. Over here, we have a very dusty old keyboard that I dragged out of the basement one day, along with that mouse, and all I use that for is my storage server/render server. So, and then that Alienware monitor is also plugged into that computer. So over here I have a 4K OLED TV that I use as a monitor. It's a smart TV, so I occasionally use it for more than that, but its main use is for editing stuff. The keyboard, as you can tell, has been used a lot. It used to be my main keyboard for the old setup until I got new pretty much everything, but now it's over here. And then here's just a random mouse that I got off of like Amazon. I don't know anything about it, but it does the job and it works. Down below is the guts of the operation. It looks a lot more complicated than it actually is. This is my gaming computer. It's a really good computer. It'll play any game I want, and it'll do it very, very well, I guess, for lack of better terms. The CPU is a Ryzen 9 3950X 16-core CPU. It has 64 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. The graphics card is a 6900 XT. It's got a liquid-cooled AIO, and I think somewhere about like 5 terabytes of SSD storage on it. So everything, it's really fast, and everything just works amazingly well on it. Over here on the right is my streaming computer. This handles all the recording and streaming aspects of YouTube, and as you can see, there is a bunch of wires and cables just coming out of it. Underneath the graphics card, you have a capture card, and that is what records all my footage. There's an HDMI that comes out of my graphics card on my gaming computer, goes into the capture card on the streaming PC, and then there's an HDMI cable that comes out of there and it plugs into my monitor. So that's how that whole thing works. And then below that, you have my wireless network card. The other specs of this computer is the CPU is a Ryzen 9 3900X 12-core CPU. I think it has somewhere between 32 and 48 gigabytes of RAM. I'm not exactly sure, I haven't checked, but it's somewhere in that range. And then the graphics card is just an old GTX 1070 I had lying around, and I took it out of another computer and put it in that one. I didn't really need the best graphics card for this computer. I don't do any gaming on it. It's literally just to display stuff, so yeah. It's pretty good. I mean, I say pretty good, but it's actually really good. I love this computer. It's amazing. Funny enough, not that much storage. It's only got about, like, I think 1.5 terabytes of storage on it, because I usually offload all the video files to the server over there, and then I edit them on the editing computer, but we'll get to that in a minute. And over here we have my server. This thing is amazing, and as you can see, I cut a giant hole in it. Funny story about that, but that's a story for another day. And I think it holds somewhere about 40 terabytes of total storage. I'm not exactly sure, I'd have to check, but I think it's somewhere in that ballpark. And this server has a Ryzen Threadripper 16-core CPU, I think 64 gigs of DDR4 RAM, and it has a GTX Titan XP for rendering, because it can just offload all that to the graphics card to render it, leaving up the CPU to do more other tasks. All of these computers, these three, are connected to a little network switch over there in the corner, and it makes a little network, so I can take files from the streaming computer, push them over to the storage server, and then I can take them from the storage server and edit them off of the storage server onto my editing computer. So it just makes the process a whole lot easier when I'm transferring files. I don't gotta have external hard drives or anything like that. It just makes it so much simpler. And this is my editing computer. This computer has a Threadripper 32-core processor. It has a massive AIO to keep the Threadripper cool. It's got 128 gigs of RAM, and it has two GTX 1080s in SLI to help with video editing and stuff like that. So this computer is very powerful, I'd say. Oh, and I forgot to mention the Samsung soundbar here, along with the subwoofer off to the side. But yeah, that's pretty much all the computers here. It does get very loud and very warm in here, and I'll turn them on in a minute so you guys can hear just how loud they get. And that's also why I've got these blankets up here, because they deaden the noise a lot in the audio playback, or when I'm recording, and a lot of that noise doesn't get picked up on the mic, so that's why I have these up here. But yeah, like I said, the only drawback to this setup is that if I'm working on something for a long time, it does tend to get hot. It gets very hot in here, but, you know, there's pros and cons to everything, and I'd say if that's the only trade-off that I get, then I'm pretty lucky. Hi guys, post setup tour Victor here. I recorded that video probably like 2 days ago at this point, and I recorded the voiceover for it yesterday, and then today I edited everything together and made it all flow nice and well. But yeah, that's pretty much my setup, guys. I think I kind of have overcomplicated it a bit, but also I like how each individual aspect of it has its own piece and it all works together as a system. And I got backup computers. Well, backup computers. I mean, any one of these computers could do the job of any of the others, except for maybe the gaming computer, because I don't think any of the graphics cards on here could actually hit 4K like the GPU in this one does. So if this computer dies, then I might be screwed, but if any of the other computers go down, either one of these other ones could take over for it. And I like that. I like having that redundancy with the system I have going. But I also think that's part of what makes my videos unique, because there is a whole system behind it. And I guess you guys kind of get to see how that works, a bit of behind the scenes, you know? I was watching the video back, and I'm sure people are going to be commenting about the shakiness of the camera and how I need to hold it still, and I apologize for that. I am not a videographer. My expertise is editing shit, building computers, and playing video games, and occasionally making funny jokes. I'm not like J.J. Abrams or something like that, you know? I can't do camera work. I can probably, but it's just going to have to be something I learn through time and effort. And who knows, maybe I'll make more vlogs, just doing things, you know? Because I do want to get more use out of that camera over there. I've had it for about 4 years now, and I don't really ever use it for anything. So yeah, if you guys got any suggestions for videos or things you want to see, please leave them in the comments below. But I'm going to leave this episode here, this video here. If you guys like the video, like it. If you want to subscribe. All you dudes and dudettes have a nice day, and remember, don't do nothing that I do.